Hi guys, it's Sophie. So I've been arguing about whether to make this video now or in January, and I think I'm fairly secure that I can make this now. In the unlikely event that any one of these 5 books that I have to show you today is usurped by another book in the last, 9 days of this month, I shall let you know, but otherwise these are the top 5 books that I've read in the year 2016. I'm even doing them in order because I'm being really brave. So in 5th place I have The Arrival by Shaun Tan. For those of you who haven't read this book, it is a graphic novel. It's a silent graphic novel. It's all sort of done in this kind of, I don't know, like kind of tea-stained vibe, sepia toned I suppose. Talking about the story of immigration and the story of family and the story of distance and the story of not belonging and what people can do to make people feel as though they do belong. This just struck me as such a beautiful thing, just such a beautiful thing that I kind of wanted to hand out to everyone. And yeah, I know I read this late, but it is something I would definitely be pushing on everyone who's even vaguely interested in reading this kind of story. It's just brilliant. It has, like, the warmth of it, I guess, has stayed with me since I've read it. So number 5. In 4th place is a book that I think just deserves as much sort of props as it could possibly get. That is The Emperor of All Maladies by Siddhartha Mukherjee. This is you know, one of my favourite non-fiction books. I've read a lot of non-fiction this year, and this is easily the standout winner of all the non-fiction that I've read this year. It's an absolutely fascinating account of the history of cancer. It's really personal as well as being sort of factual and well researched, and you know, the author, he lives this topic, and you can tell that it's his like passion. He's really good at sort of getting little personal anecdotes in there as well as those of patients and what the journey feels like for a doctor, for someone who's fighting against cancer but not their own cancer. It's just absolutely fascinating. If you know someone with cancer, or you're just interested in understanding a little bit more about it as an illness, it's genuinely a stunning book. It's just so well crafted. It is long, but I promise you it's worth it. And the next one I have is a play. I would class it as a play, and that is The Sunset Limited by Cormac McCarthy. This is, again, just completely stuck with me and just really sort of settled into my life, I suppose. This is a conversation between 2 characters, white and black, and is essentially a conversation between sort of death and life and the pointlessness of it all and what we get from life. It's just a really beautiful sort of playing with that sort of issues of the human condition, and McCarthy's voices are so strong, like his dialogue is so strong, and in this it's just so believable, it's so real, and the characters get to sort of flesh themselves out rather than just being, even though they're all equal white and black, and it's very clear that they are these sort of archetypes, that they feel like people too. I just thought it was so clever, and I've gone back to this and reread little bits of it again and again since, and that is always something that means that it's very good for me personally. And there's a quote in here that is sort of like my quote of the year, I think, which is, "It's personal. That's what an education does. It makes the world personal," which I just love. That's probably my favourite quote, I think, for this entire year. But yeah, absolutely adored this book. In 2nd place, I have a book that I really don't feel like I've spoken about very much, and it's Judas by Amos Oz. I find it really hard to explain why I love this. I found it really hard to explain it the first time, but I really truly do love it. I mean, it's in 2nd place of all the books I've read. I've read like over 190 odd books so far this year, and this is number 2. So clearly I do love it. I had such a fantastic experience reading this book, and as strange as it sounds, I can remember the days I spent reading this book. I can remember where I was and the sense of sort of like peace and calm and just this lovely like emotion this book gave me. I love the characters, I love the way that the story was formed, I love the setting. I just felt so sort of safe and wrapped up in this story, and it deals with sort of interesting things as well. It's dealing with sort of religion, it's dealing with conflict, but it's so beautifully personal. It's so just gorgeous. And when I read this book, and this is why it's sort of number 2, this is why it's so high, when I read this book, it made me see the world in a more beautiful manner than I had done when I was reading it. And I remember for those 2 days just seeing tiny things in my world, in my life, that were made more wonderful by the fact I was reading this. I just absolutely loved it, and I've not heard anyone else talk about it. I have barely spoken about it, but yeah, I just adored it. Nothing more really I can say on that. And then number 1, I expect most of you think this is going to be one thing. And some of you may think it's what it is, some of you may think it's something else entirely. But the book that I've chosen for my best book of 2016 is Child of God by Cormac McCarthy. Now, those of you who saw me speak about this book may not be surprised by this, because I said immediately after I read it, I think this is my new favourite book ever. And it is. This is my new favourite book ever. This is my best book. This is the best one. Of all the ones I've read, this one. It's just the perfect book for me. I'm the kind of person who reads this and just loves it. It feels like it was built for me. It's dark and it's twisted and it's violent, but oh Jesus, God, is it gorgeous. Like the writing is stunning. And the comparison of this stark, awful situation and the just beauty of the language, I think it's masterful, I think it's wonderful. And every sentence was in my head was just perfect. When I was reading it, I knew as I was reading it that, oh my goodness, this is incredible, and I savoured every bit of this book. So this has to come first, that there's no question that Child of God is the book that impressed me the most, is the book that just blew me away. The writing is so beautiful, like I don't think I can get that across enough, but it's, yeah, the combination of those two, the combination of that dark and that light, and it just being so perfectly balanced, I just completely loved it. It's not going to be for everyone because it is very violent, it is very dark, but I just can't not give this book like my whole heart. Yeah, so that's my favourite book of 2016. Now, before we wrap stuff up, there's another book that has to come in here, and I'm not, jumping out, I'm not saying like, oh, here are my 6 favourite books. No, these are my top 5 favourite books. But there's another book that is the most influential book in my life that I've read this year. And you'll know which one this is because it's not been in there, but it's Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. You've seen me chat about this a lot on my channel. You've heard me reference this book an awful lot. And it really has changed my outlook on a lot of things. Now, I have issues with this book. I have some things that I didn't like about it. I have some things that I'm not sure how I feel about it. I hate how long it is. I really do. I hate how long it is, and I hate how inaccessible it is. But this is the book above all the books I've read that has changed the way I think. And I think probably of those 5, whilst I adore them, I really do adore those 5, I feel as though Infinite Jest may be one that stays with me longer. And because of that, I feel I have to mention it. So I really don't know how to sort of frame that out, but I think hopefully that makes sense. There are 5 books that I adore there, and one that is so important I can't not have it in that list. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. This has been something that I've been thinking about pretty much the entire year and building up on. And hopefully it's been fun to sort of watch. I'd love to know what your top 5 favourite books are in the comments down below. I'd love to know if you read any of these books, if you liked them, if you hated them, and just really share it if you feel you can at this stage. I've had a great reading year, I really have. I've read some things that have really changed the way I live, which is what I wanted to do. It's always what I want to do. I want to learn as much as I can in the precious time that I have here, and I really feel I've done that, and I think the books I've mentioned today have helped me do that and help change me and shape me as a person. And what more can you ask for? That's reading in a nutshell, isn't it? So yeah, I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you tomorrow in my next Vlogmas video. Until then, look after yourselves and have a happy sort of run up to Christmas. I guess most of you are off, so enjoy your time with your families and just enjoying this sort of holiday season. Okay, see you soon. Bye bye.